Hello, Leo Sunbeams, welcome to Eternal Mindfulness. Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. What if today was the day the universe finally answers your silent prayer? Not later. Not next week. Not someday. But right here, right now, May 13th. This isn't just another horoscope. This is your moment of cosmic alignment. Because something extraordinary is already on its way to you, and I don't say that lightly. Whether it's a long-awaited proposal, an unexpected promotion, or a massive financial blessing that seems to appear out of nowhere, today carries the kind of energy that could shift everything. Not through chaos, but through clarity. Not with noise, but with divine precision. So, if you've landed on this video, trust me, it's not random. It's resonance. You see, your soul didn't stumble here. It was called here. The same way a tuning fork responds to the exact frequency it's meant for, you are responding to your own divine timing. Take a breath with me. And pause for just one heartbeat. Because if you stay with me today, Leo, you're not just going to hear predictions, you're going to feel validation. Confirmation. A sense that yes, the path, the pause, the pressure, it all had a purpose. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the energies, the tarot symbols, the self-help wisdom, and the spiritual alignment that make May 13th not just a lucky day, but your awakening day. And before we dive in, I'd love to invite you to do something powerful, something intentional. Go ahead and type an angel number in the comments below that you keep seeing lately, or even one that just popped into your head as you heard this. It's not a test, it's a signal. One you send out, and one the universe echoes back. And now, let me take just a moment to say this from the heart. Thank you. Every like, every comment, every share, and every time you hit subscribe, you're not just supporting this channel. You're building a space where souls like yours feel seen, heard, and deeply supported. Your presence here keeps eternal mindfulness thriving and glowing, and for that, I am truly, endlessly grateful. And trust me when I say this, you'll want to stay with me all the way to the end of this video, because what the universe is about to reveal for Leo is breathtaking. So now, my fiery friends, are you ready? Let's unlock the magic of May 13th together. There's a quiet yet powerful truth that many overlook. The world outside you doesn't shift because you push harder. It shifts because something within you softens, expands, and begins to resonate at a different frequency. What we often call miracles are not sudden arrivals from nowhere, they are reflections. Reflections of a change that's already happened in your inner field. So when we talk about shifting frequencies today, it's not about doing more. It's about being different. It's about choosing presence over pressure. Openness over control. You see, Leo, your fire is sacred. It's your source of confidence, of creation, of charisma. But even the strongest flame needs to breathe. And when your light has been constantly burning to meet expectations, whether they're from others or from yourself, it's easy to forget that you don't have to earn your blessings. You only have to align with them. That alignment begins when you pause, not to fix, not to analyze, but to feel. Just feel. This is where healing starts, and where magic begins to move. There's a phrase whispered through the ancient wisdom of stillness: what you chase, runs. What you welcome, comes. And that's exactly the energy of today. You're not meant to chase down the breakthrough. You're meant to clear space for it. Energetically, May 13th opens a window where receiving is more potent than reaching. Where your willingness to be available, to joy, to clarity, to surprise, is more important than your need to be prepared. Your soul already knows what to do. The question is, will you give it permission? That's why something as simple as taking 3 conscious breaths can be so profoundly transformational. When you breathe with presence, you're not just calming your nerves. You're resetting your vibration. You're returning to the still point inside you, where all power originates. Imagine that as you breathe in, you're pulling in golden light, pure, intelligent, nourishing light that washes through every corner of your being. And as you exhale, let go of that weight you've carried on autopilot, the what-ifs, the should-haves, the fear of not being enough. They were never yours to begin with. And in that stillness, just like the silence between musical notes, something begins to hum. It's subtle at first. A flicker. A nudge. Maybe it comes as a text message, a comment, a chance encounter that feels a little too timely to be coincidence. But here's the key, these openings won't shout. They'll whisper. They ask for your awareness, your willingness to trust what can't be measured. They ask you to stop needing proof and start leaning into presence. It's in this space of gentle, surrendered awareness that your entire field changes. Not because you made a change, but because you got out of your own way long enough for life to work with you, not against you. That's the true power of frequency. It's not a technique, it's a posture. A way of listening without tension. A way of moving without force. A way of being so attuned to the moment that the future no longer feels far away. It feels like it's unfolding through you. So, Leo, you don't have to prove your worth today. You only have to remember it. You don't have to demand your miracle. You just have to recognize the spaces where it might already be trying to arrive. Whether it shows up as a message from someone unexpected, a promotion offer you didn't think was coming, or a kind word that heals something in you, you'll know. And when it does come, not as a reward but as a reflection, you'll look back and realize, the miracle didn't start when it showed up. It started the moment you allowed it. When we begin to observe life not as a string of disconnected events but as a constellation of meanings quietly orbiting our awareness, tools like tarot become more than cards, they become mirrors. Not mystical spells, but reflective surfaces that reveal the emotional and energetic patterns we may not yet have the words to articulate. In that way, today's cards, the Ace of Swords, the King of Cups, and the Star, are not predictions as much as they are invitations. Invitations to see clearly, feel fully, and hope again with intention. The Ace of Swords is the blade that cuts through fog. It doesn't force an answer into view, rather, it slices gently through confusion so that the truth, your truth, can rise naturally. It appears when we're ready to stop guessing and start knowing. This kind of knowing doesn't shout. It's a quiet, steady pulse in the chest. You might experience it today as a conversation that suddenly shifts tone, an email you didn't expect, or even a sentence that echoes through your mind while doing something mundane. These are not coincidences. They are clarity in disguise. And the moment you stop trying to force meaning and begin to listen, truly listen, the direction becomes unmistakable. The King of Cups appears as a figure of emotional steadiness, not because life is calm, but because they have learned to stay centered even when it isn't. This energy may come through another person, a partner, a friend, a mentor, or it may arise within you. What's most important is that it reminds you, wisdom doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, it means honoring them with maturity. Real strength is not the absence of sensitivity, it's the ability to feel deeply without being swept away. There may be someone entering your life now who embodies this, or perhaps you are stepping into this level of grace yourself, finally realizing that emotional leadership begins with how you hold your own heart. And then there is the star, the softest yet most powerful of the three. This card is not about answers, it's about healing. It enters not when things are perfect, but when we are ready to trust that they can be beautiful again. There's a quiet law of life, what you gently tend to, tends to grow. That's the energy of the star. The idea that your dreams are not naive, your longing is not foolish, and your light, no matter how dimmed by past pain, is still there, waiting to shine again. Today might bring you a moment that seems simple on the surface but moves something old and heavy within you. That's not small. That's transformation. Each of these cards carries an essence that aligns beautifully with the present moment. And whether you find yourself drawn to truth, to emotional wisdom, or to healing light, there's no wrong path, only the one you are most ready for. Choosing a card isn't about deciding what will happen, it's about recognizing what's already speaking inside you. It's a gesture of willingness. A way to say, I am listening. I am open. So today, take a breath and choose, not with your logic, but with your gut. Which card reflects the vibration you feel beneath the surface? Is it the clarity of the Ace of Swords, the depth of the King of Cups, or the soft resilience of the star? Comment its name below to anchor the energy into your field. That small act of intention becomes the thread that connects your inner world to the flow of what's coming. Not because you made it happen, but because you were present enough to welcome it. There are moments in life when reality begins to shimmer, just slightly, reminding us that the visible world is never the full story. Today holds that kind of shimmer, and it's found not in the extraordinary, but in the everyday. In money, in work, in the body you live in. These areas often feel like the most practical aspects of life, and yet they are deeply reflective of your internal state. When your frequency shifts, these outer layers begin to echo the change. And so, today's opportunities around finances, career, and health are not merely lucky breaks, they are the physical manifestations of alignment. If a financial surprise arrives, whether through a payment long overdue, an unexpected bonus, or a sudden opportunity to earn, let it in without hesitation. Let it in without guilt. This isn't the time to question whether you've earned it. Life doesn't always reward effort in a straight line. Sometimes it responds to the quiet inner clearing you've done when no one was watching. The space you've made within yourself is what allows new abundance to land. When it does, consider sharing a portion, not out of obligation, but as an act of flow. Giving from your overflow reminds your energy field that wealth is circulation, not possession. When you offer something forward, whether it's money, support, or attention, you keep the current moving, and that movement invites more. In your professional life, today may bring a subtle shift that carries powerful momentum. A compliment from someone whose opinion matters. An invitation into a meeting you hadn't expected. Or the moment someone hands you a responsibility that feels bigger than you thought you were ready for. Don't shrink from it. You are not being tested, you are being recognized. The frequency you've been cultivating internally is now becoming visible to others. Step into it. Say yes with your posture, not just your words. Remember, growth rarely arrives when we feel perfectly prepared. It arrives the moment we decide to participate fully, with presence and integrity. As for your health, your body is not separate from your path. It is the vessel that carries your energy, your intuition, your evolution. And while enthusiasm may drive you to push harder, the real power today lies in conscious care. Drink water that feels alive, like fresh juice or warm lemon water. Let your first 10 minutes of the day be spent with yourself, eyes closed, simply breathing. You don't have to call it meditation. Just breathe with the intention of listening. Let your body speak in its own quiet way. There is a deeper wisdom that suggests that rest is not the opposite of productivity, it is a requirement for clarity. When you sleep tonight, let it be without the weight of unfinished tasks. Let it be a soft reset, like clearing a fogged mirror so that truth can reflect more clearly tomorrow. Your energy doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be replenished. What you do with today is your choice. But if you pay attention closely, you'll see that the outer world is offering subtle confirmations of the inner work you've already done. Money arriving when you least expect it. Work acknowledging you in ways that matter. A sense of physical peace that returns when you stop trying to force it. These are not random. They are reminders that when you return to yourself, gently, honestly, fully, the world can't help but respond in kind. Love, connection, and the delicate threads that hold us to each other often move in rhythms we cannot predict, but we can feel them, deeply and instinctively, when we're quiet enough to notice. This part of your life, especially today, isn't asking you to chase answers or force clarity. It's asking you to soften into what's already shifting beneath the surface. When it comes to matters of the heart, romantic or familial, the most powerful transformations rarely begin with grand gestures. They begin with small moments of truth, with one person allowing themselves to be fully seen, and another choosing not to turn away. If you're single, the energy that surrounds you now is not just about meeting someone. It's about recognizing someone. There's a difference. A stranger can cross your path 100 times and mean nothing. But when the timing is aligned, when your awareness sharpens, when your heart is ready, a single glance can feel like a memory returning. You might experience this as a conversation that feels oddly familiar, or a casual invitation that turns out to be pivotal. Don't underestimate these openings. If you're invited somewhere today, even if it's out of your routine, or slightly inconvenient, say yes. There's often wisdom in spontaneous movement. Sometimes the door opens because you chose to walk through it before you fully understood why. For those already in a relationship, this is a day that invites emotional courage. There may be words waiting to be spoken, not rehearsed or perfect, but honest. You or your partner might be carrying something unspoken that, once brought into the light, clears space for a deeper level of connection. Remember, closeness isn't built by agreeing on everything. It's built by choosing to stay open, especially when things feel vulnerable. Today offers an opportunity for repair, or even reinvention, not because something was broken, but because something old is ready to evolve into something more whole. Don't be afraid of what comes up. If it surfaces today, it's only because it's ready to be healed, and both of you, in your own way, are ready too. And when it comes to family, things may stir where you least expect them. A person you once felt distant from may surprise you with a gesture of warmth, a message, or an apology that softens years of unspoken tension. Or you may find yourself wanting to reach out, not because you need to fix anything, but because your heart feels spacious enough to offer understanding. In these moments, it's important to remember that healing in families doesn't always happen in dramatic scenes. Sometimes it's in a quiet text, a shared memory, an invitation to dinner, something simple that says, "We're still here." And that matters. From a deeper perspective, every interaction today holds the potential to be more than what it seems on the surface. Love isn't something we acquire, it's something we return to. It's our natural state, but life teaches us to guard it, protect it, hesitate with it. Today's energy invites a soft dismantling of those defenses. It's not about being naive, it's about being available. Available for tenderness, for honest dialogue, for moments that could lead to reconnection, forgiveness, or unexpected joy. The kind of moments that often pass unnoticed unless you're truly present. So wherever you are on your personal path, whether longing, loving, or letting go, be willing to stay open a little longer today. Not to expectations, but to possibilities. Not to the version of love you've imagined, but the one that's quietly unfolding, right in front of you. Sometimes, love doesn't arrive like a lightning bolt. Sometimes, it tiptoes in like a breath. And if your heart is quiet enough, you'll feel it. Numbers, like colors and breath, speak a language far more ancient than words. They are vibrations made visible, tiny codes embedded in the fabric of your experience that can gently guide your awareness back to presence. Today, the numbers you've been noticing or drawn to aren't random. They are nudges, reminders, confirmations of a deeper alignment unfolding beneath the surface of your daily life. In the same way that a compass doesn't force you to walk north but simply reminds you of its direction, these numbers are here to help realign you with what you already carry within: clarity, timing, and readiness. The number 5 whispers of change, not chaos, but motion. It reminds us that life is not meant to be static. That feeling of being in between? That's not lost. It's becoming. When you see the number 5 today, take it as a gentle reminder that you're not unraveling, you're reshaping. The structure may shift, but your center doesn't have to. You can hold steady even as everything around you finds a new rhythm. The presence of 13 brings with it the duality of endings and beginnings. It's not here to signal loss, but transition. Like the quiet that falls before a storm passes or the hush that precedes a sunrise, this number reminds us that release is not a failure, it's an act of trust. The more you allow what's no longer aligned to gently fall away, the more space you create for something meaningful to enter. Then there's 19, a number that vibrates with inner strength. It doesn't shout. It simply affirms, you've already come further than you thought. This is the number that appears when you're standing at the edge of your next decision, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough now to choose differently. It speaks of resilience built not in one moment, but through many silent, steady steps. And it reminds you that confidence doesn't mean having no fear, it means moving forward with heart anyway. The number 27 often shows up when you're beginning to hear the signals, the inner signs, the outer synchronicities. It's a cosmic echo of your own awareness sharpening. It doesn't predict what will happen, but affirms that you're paying attention, and because of that, your alignment is already shifting. Seeing 44 today is like receiving an invisible hand on your shoulder. It's the number of quiet protection, of grounded wisdom. You might feel alone in your journey, but you are not unsupported. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from simply knowing you are being witnessed, even if no one around you says it aloud. And then, 88, a number of abundance not just in money, but in momentum. This number doesn't shout, "You're rich." It suggests that energy is moving in your favor. That what was once stuck is now beginning to uncoil. It invites you to think not just in terms of receiving but in allowing. Not managing everything, but opening to the idea that the universe does not need your control, only your cooperation. Alongside these numbers, the color violet gold holds an especially potent frequency today. It's regal, yes, but not in the sense of superiority. It holds the essence of dignity, of sacred self-respect. Wearing or visualizing this color invites you to carry yourself not with pride, but with poise. Not with need, but with quiet readiness. It's a frequency that doesn't chase. It simply holds, and what is meant for it, finds it. And as you move through your day, come back to this quiet truth: I don't need to control the miracle, I only need to be ready for it. That affirmation isn't a wish. It's a posture. A decision to trust that life unfolds best when we soften our grip, open our hands, and simply show up. Fully, honestly, here. If you've stayed with me until now, Leo, I want you to pause and honor that. Not just because you watched the video to the end, but because something within you recognized this message wasn't just content, it was a mirror. A reminder. A gentle but firm knock from the future asking, "Are you ready yet?" And if your heart whispered, yes, even quietly, then the answer is already unfolding. So much of what we wait for, whether it's clarity, love, abundance, or healing, isn't waiting for us in the distance. It's waiting for us to say yes. To shift just slightly. To lean one breath closer. You don't have to be completely confident. You don't have to know exactly what's next. You only have to be willing to open the door. The rest, truly, will meet you where you are. You see, magic doesn't arrive for those who wait passively. It arrives for those who are willing to respond. To stand at the edge of the unknown and say, "I may not know how, but I trust something beautiful is possible." That's not naivety. That's courage. That's your Leo fire softening into faith. So I want to leave you with a question, one you might carry with you beyond this video. What would shift in your life today if you stopped preparing for disappointment and started preparing for blessings? What if you dared to believe that everything you've been through wasn't leading you to collapse, but to convergence? That the right people, right timing, and right resources are not far away. They're orbiting closer the moment you align with their frequency. If that resonates, if even part of you feels the pull to open up just a little more, I invite you to anchor that energy with intention. Comment below, "I'm ready to receive the beautiful surprise life has for me." You never know what that single act of claiming might set into motion. And if this video stirred something within you, if you felt seen, supported, or simply reminded of your own light, please give it a like, subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, and hit the bell so we can keep walking this journey together. Your support doesn't just help this channel grow, it helps more people find their light through these messages. That ripple is real, and you're a part of it. So whether the surprise today comes as a conversation, an opportunity, or a quiet shift in how you see yourself, trust that it's not random. It's right on time. And you, Leo, you were never meant to sit in the waiting room of your own destiny. You are here to answer the knock, to open the door, and to let life love you back.